is the inescapable challenge to all the advanced nations of the earth. We must commit ourselves to a future where Americans and citizens of all nations will live and work in space. From the voyages of Columbus to the Oregon Trail to the journey to the moon itself, history proves that we have never lost by pressing the limits of our frontiers. For the new century, back to the moon, back to the future, and this time back to stay. And then a journey into tomorrow, a journey to another planet, a manned mission to Mars.
We should be on the ground.
Mars. Desolate, dusty and dry, as if the god of war had swept through its surface in archaic times, stripping it of its once glorious landscape and depleting its resources. Humans have recently found evidence of this past, but only a handful of institutions fighting for control are selfishly entitled to this knowledge. What they had seen on Mars made the US government and other world superpowers question the very origins of humanity. And during this battle for power and control, they used various methods and tricks to crack the Martian riddle and further utilize this forbidden knowledge to their advantage. There's an abundance of anomalies on Mars, reminding of a once thriving civilization similar in achievements to our own species. Since the first pictures with the dusty Martian surface were beamed back almost 50 years ago, it became known that traces of intelligent design existed there. The Cydonia region on the Red Planet has an entire complex towering above the ground. A five-sided Grand Pyramid, an eerie face-like structure dubbed the Face on Mars, another formation named the Watchtower, and other structures resembling pyramids are a few of the anomalies spotted on the surface. Other images received across the years revealed more irregularities from the Martian surface believed to have been ancient settlements. The Inca city on Mars caused a massive stir inside the scientific community in the 70s, and recent evidence of a colossal establishment inside the famed Hell crater has intrigued today's minds in search of answers. A huge pile of evidence is pointing at an intelligent print left on our now desolate neighbor by its former inhabitants, and there is close to no disclosure from official parties. But how would this secrecy benefit them in any way, you might ask? And the answer is power and monopoly over information. On the 8th of August 2000, under the Freedom of Information Act, aimed at declassifying files in part or in full containing previously unreleased knowledge of public interest controlled by the US government, a curious CIA document was brought to light. Its initial purpose was that of learning more about the Red Planet using a technique called remote viewing, which is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen target, purportedly using extrasensory perception, also referred to as sensing with mind. A remote viewer has the ability to give details about an object, location, person, or event that is hidden from physical sight and separated by time periods. Declassified CIA documents reveal that this practice was given much attention by various intelligence services. They used remote viewing as a tool for gathering information that would otherwise be inaccessible regarding of the means employed. Considerable funding went into such experiments, and a conclusion was reached that remote viewing was precise enough to be used for fieldwork. Proof of this stands this declassified CIA document dated May 9, 1984. Although physicist Russell Targ and Harald Puthoff, parapsychology researchers at Stanford Research Institute, are the ones credited with enacting the term remote viewing to differentiate it from another related term of clairvoyance, it was Ingo Swann that had first made this ability known during the 1971 experiment held at the American Society for Physical Research in New York City. Ingo Swann is mentioned in the CIA documents as the most accurate of remote viewers, and is no wonder that the CIA had employed him for various tasks that would otherwise be impossible to attain. In his 1998 book entitled Penetration, Swann offers extended details about the tasks performed for the agency. In 1975, Swann was tasked by a CIA officer named Axelrod, or Axel, to snoop on secret moon bases ran by several extraterrestrial civilizations using his ability. These particular finds are openly discussed in the 5th chapter of his book. The results were satisfying for the CIA, who further employed other remote viewers to learn more about off-planet locations. Given the bewildering imagery received from the Viking orbiter in 1976 with the surface of Mars, their focus immediately went in that direction. The initial procedure is detailed on the second page of the CIA document dated May 22, 1984. The body of the CIA document is a transcript of the responses offered by the remote viewer, referred to as sub or subject, to the inquirer, referred to as mon. Subject was unaware of the locations of the provided coordinates, yet his answers were extremely relevant, as you're about to see. First indicated region was that of Cydonia, the spot where numerous structures resembling earthly constructs and monuments were identified. Here are a subject's first impressions upon remote viewing the site. I want to say it looks like a, I don't know, it sort of looks, I kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid or pyramid form. is very high. It's kind of sitting in a large depressed area. Further on, the remote viewer is sent about 1,000,000 years into the past and is asked to provide details of the Martian population inhabiting the region, if there was indeed any. He then sees very tall and thin humanoids dressed in silk garbs.
Tell me about the ones who slip through the storms.
Very tall, again, very large people, but they're thin. They look thin because of their height, and they dress like in, oh hell, it's like real light silk, but it's not flowing type of clothing, it's like cut to fit. They were all sheltering from the devastating storm outside, and were looking for ways to escape the ruthless events that were sweeping everything on Mars's surface.
Move close to one of them and ask them to tell you about themselves.
They're ancient people. They're dying. It's past their time or age.
Tell me about this.
They're very philosophic about it. They're looking for a way to survive, and they just can't. In order to assure the survival of their species, the Martians have considered migrating elsewhere in the solar system. Some of them were lucky enough to do so, while others were still awaiting their brethren to bring salvation.
What is it they're waiting for?
There evidently was a group or a party of them that went to find a new place to live. It's like I'm getting all kinds of overwhelming input of the corruption of their environment. It's failing very rapidly, and this group went somewhere, like a long way, to find another place to live. The remote viewer then reaches what appears to be a spacecraft that had carried some of the Martians away in remote times. Their journey takes them to a planet with intense geological activity on the surface, where different species of plants grow, unlike Mars, where vegetation was missing entirely.
Okay, when the others left, these people are waiting. When the others left, how did they go?
Get an impression of, don't know what the hell it is. It looks like the inside of a large boat, very rounded walls and shiny metal. Go along with them on their journey and find out where it is they go. Impression of a really crazy place with volcanoes and gas pockets and strange plants. Very volatile place. It's very much like going from the frying pan into the fire. Difference is there seems to be a lot of vegetation where the other place did not have it, and different kind of storm. Could this new place be regarded as Earth? Did escaping Martians transit through space to reach the closest neighbor planet in order to escape the ruthless calamities that were draining the atmosphere and resources of Mars? Are the pyramids and other ruins on Mars leftovers of this ancient species of gigantic humanoids? Let's explore the possibilities and find out.